Welcome to DDL. I'm Justin. This is T. We're going to get into it.
Oh, okay. Want to dive just right into it?
Let's
Want to
do
give any intro on what we're doing?
We kind of did this a little bit last week, just kind of looking up some stuff, some advice on relationships and whether or not we agree.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. So this is the first one. I'll read it and you respond first.
Sure.
Perfect. A man will only put in work with a woman he really wants. Men are hunters by nature. If he is not going hard for you, you are not what he wants. Read that again. Interesting.
So, I would say this is one I don't necessarily agree with. Yeah, men instinctively are hunters by nature, but it kind of treats women like prey. You know what I mean? So for me, it's kind of a, the man can be the one who pursues the woman, and I think in most relationships that should be the case. However, I know a lot of successful Christian relationships where the wife saw the guy at church and went, that's the guy I want. And she might not have gone after him, but she definitely put herself in situations to be around him all the time so that he would kind of go get the hint,
Yeah.
you know, because guys, look, by nature, we're slow. We are hunters by nature, but by nature, we don't take social cues. Well, I looked at him and I went like this, and so he should have known. No, we didn't know. No, there are times girls have hit on me, and I'm just like, oh, okay, thank you. And then I walk away, and a friend or somebody else is like, dude, she was hitting on you. And I'm like, she was? Oh, shoot. Can I go back?
I think every man has that story.
Legitimately. Or I'm describing, hey, there was this girl I talked to. We were just friends, blah, 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 blah. And the person's like, dude, I think she liked you. Oh, really? Oh, well, that was 8 years ago. So it's kind of too late now. And so
missed your chance.
So obviously, like, I think the man should be the one who's like, hey, I would like to take you out. I would like to, and I'm not saying this is absolute rule, but I think in general, it's a good thing for the man to be the one who kind of pursues. But to say in every situation, like, if he's not the one who's going hard for you, then he doesn't want you. No, a lot of times we don't even know that we want you, but we don't know that you want us. And so I would say, there's an aspect of this with a girl that I was pursuing, kind of, in a church, and there was just some weird, awkward social cues. The few moments we had together they were kind of more fleeting, and it was like, oh, okay, like I was at a lot of church functions. She just wasn't. She would come late. She would leave early. And it's like, man, I can't talk to her before church. She's coming in late. I'm already doing the sound, and I got to close up doing the sound. So when she takes off and I'm looking around, she's not there. It's like, turns out she did kind of like me. It's like, well, shoot, if you would have been at more stuff or put yourself around me, I would have had more chances to talk to you. Mm-hmm. And so, look, she was a cute girl. There was nothing wrong. It was just the few times we did interact, it was like she wasn't giving me cues that were clear. And, oh, hey, I really like that verse. Oh, cool. Well, hey, here's another verse. Oh, what? And then just, that's, okay, bye. And then I'm like, do you like me at all or no? And so, yeah, like, we can pursue you, but we have to have very clear cues a lot of times. And, I think sometimes, when you put all the burden on the man, it's like, look, some women are just like, I know what I want. Do you want to go on a date with me? And it's like, oh, okay. Like, I'd say that's probably not the norm, but I would say there's also nothing wrong with that approach. And so I would say there's plenty of women that I've quote unquote wanted, but I haven't necessarily pursued and pursued hard after, because if you pursue the wrong woman, you kind of look creepy. If you pursue somebody who you don't know for a fact likes you back, mm-hmm. especially in today's day and age, yep. You look like a weirdo. So as guys, sometimes we just think, oh, she'd want nothing to do with me. She's way too pretty. She's way too this. She's way too that. And she's out of my league. And a lot of the more nice, humble guys that you want are probably going to be that way. Guess who's not that way? The dogs, the players, the guys who want to sleep with everything. They are the ones who will go after women no matter what. So if he's going hard after you, maybe you should hold up and go, hey, you're going hard after me. How many other times have you done this? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So quality men don't necessarily go hard.
So a man will only put work with a woman he really wants. You started off with saying something that you didn't agree with it because it actually treats men are like hunters, but this makes women seem like prey.
Yeah.
And when you said that, I was just like, dude, that's actually a super true statement right there. And it didn't even occur to me. So the way I read this is if you are in a beginning stages of a relationship, like let's say you've already gone out on a couple of dates, if a man is putting in work to learn who you are, to learn what your likes and dislikes are, that is the work that I'm thinking that she's talking about.
Okay.
And that's the perspective I'm going to come at this with.
Okay.
So if that is how she is actually trying to convey it, and he is not putting in the work to learn who you are, to be the person that you're hoping to find and to better himself for you, then yeah, he's not into you. Because if a man really does want you and does respect you and does want to provide for you and does want to make sure you're happy, he's going to be coachable. He is going to be learning who you are and what you're looking for, what you don't put up with, what you do put up. He's going to be respectful of your boundaries. So the way I read this is in that context, and in that context, it makes sense. What you were talking about, I can completely see what you're talking about, and I think that makes complete sense in that context as well.
Right.
So I think it's how you're interpreting it, like how you read this and how you interpret what she's trying to say. Because I think the way
you're coming at from they're in a relationship
Yep.
standpoint, and I'm coming at it from okay, if he's pursuing you,
Yep.
it's obviously, well, this must be a girl that I'm not dating yet.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So because
I get that.
I 100% agree with you. Like
Yeah.
the nice men are not going to put in hard work for women that they think are going to be beyond them because they don't want to come across as creepy and they want to show respect to that woman.
Yes.
So dude, you put that eloquently.
Thanks.
I like that.
Thanks. Yeah, and I hearing you describe it that way, I'm like, oh, okay. So again, it's like perspectives on it.
Yeah. So interesting. Next one.
You can pause it again if you want.
Okay.
That way it's a little bit less distracting.
Yeah. You read, I'll respond first.
It says, real men stay faithful. They don't have time to look for other women because they're too busy looking for new ways to love their own.
I love this sentiment because it actually nails it right on the head of what I believe, which is when you're in a relationship and you actually care about a woman, you're caring about her physical needs, you're caring about her emotional needs, you're caring about making sure that she has what she's needed for in her life in every aspect. And one of the biggest things that you need to care for that most men don't is their emotional well-being. And staying faithful is one of the most ways to be secure and to provide that emotional stability that you should be showing to your person to love, that you love. And if you're only focused on them, you are going to learn new habits that they have or new things that they want to try. And you're going to invest in ways to invest in new ways to make them feel appreciated and known. So I really like this statement.
Yeah, and it goes back to, looking for the better option. It's like, guys that are, not satisfied with what they have. It's like, oh, well, let me find this younger, better version who looks prettier, and it's like, oh, well, then I'll be happy. Well, you're just going to treat her the same exact way, because why did you pursue the girl you're with now? Because she was all of those things to you before. And if your time is spent not investing in your current relationship, you're not going to have any appreciation for her. And the problem at the root of it is you don't appreciate her. And as long as that's happening, you're not going to have successful relationships or marriages, because you're always looking for the next thing. And ultimately, yeah, you can only be responsible for your side of your heart when it comes to faithfulness. You can put boundaries in place of like, hey, I'd prefer you not talk to certain people. You can put boundaries in place, but as far as your side, you can only keep your heart from wandering and looking for other things. And when you feel your heart starting to wander, maybe it's time to check up and go, hey, we need to talk. Maybe it's time to have a conversation, communicate. And maybe it's just time for you to, as she said, strap down, put in the work. Instead of putting all your time and effort into looking around for something else, maybe you should put your eyes back down where they need to be, to the grindstone, and start working on your actual relationship. And if you put that effort in trying to find a new girl into staying faithful, I think we'd have a lot more successful relationships and marriages. But
I like that. Okay, last one that we're going to cover. A real man, or a real men, I think she meant man.
Yeah.
/ boyfriend will never be okay with you being around male friends, other men that like you or liked you. It doesn't matter if you don't like them back.
I would say that is true, no matter what your man tells you. Your man may say, "No, it's fine. No, I don't care. You can look, I get it. You know, people, you guys used to be an item and you used to date, and now you don't. And so hey, it's fine. I get it. Your guy may tell you that. Guess what? He's lying to you. Not one man that I've ever met on this earth is okay with you being around somebody you used to date that likes you a lot, even if the feeling isn't mutual, or in any sort of a variation of that. That there is the guys, even if you're a secure man, you are confident. Look, I don't like you hanging out around those people. Because again, going back to the nature of men, I know how a lot of men are. And even if things are cool and you're being friends with them, look, a lot of guys that are just trying to be your friend are doing it because they don't have real game, and they're using it as a way to get closer, to get more intimate. A lot of guys will use the friendship card as a way, well, I'll play the long game. Guys can be patient for a woman that they desire. And so that's why, hey, well, nothing's ever happened before. I don't care. If he really, really likes you, I think, number one, it's foolish for you to be hanging out with him. But number two, if you really don't like him at all, you're just leading him on. So, anyway.
Yeah. So, this one, I would agree with you. I think that no male is actually going to be okay with it.
Yeah.
What they're going to do is, if they truly care about you, they're going to let you know that they're not okay with it, but they're also going to let you make your own decisions on it. And they're going to internalize their it's not an insecurity. They're going to internalize their anxiety about it, right? Because like you said, men know other men. Men will play the long game. They will pretend to be your friends. They will pretend to laugh with you and do whatever. They will be the ones to hear about all your relationship problems. And then they're, and as soon as they see an opening, they will take it. If that opening ever comes.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you like them back or not. The simple fact is having a lot of male friends around, there's, I don't really want to say it this way, but I don't really know how else to say it. Men can be devious. And if your man truly cares about you, he is going to be well aware that another man could do something untold to you, and it's going to be a concern.
Yeah.
And again, it goes back to it. I don't view this as a controlling thing. I view this as this is how men show that they love you, because they care about you, they want to protect you, and they want to protect you from other men, because men can be very dangerous.
Yeah.
and they can be harmful to their, not only to what the man cares about in this relationship, but they can also be damaging to you as the girlfriend or the wife.
Well, and as I said, this statement's true whether you like it or not. And even if you have had the conversation, even if he has told you it's okay, even if whatever, no matter what, this is true. Mm-hmm. Deep down, it's just, there's not going to be, he'll lie to you and say he's okay with it because maybe he doesn't want to lose you. Maybe he thinks, maybe he is insecure. Maybe there can be 1,000 reasons, and because he's insecure, he's not going to tell you he doesn't like it. And actually, him actually being secure is like, no, I'm secure in myself. I have a problem with this. But
I would agree with that.
But realistically, guys, we again, because we know how guys operate. What's the Family Feud clip with Steve Harvey where they talk about what would you do for sex? And they've got a team, and it's a team of women. And they're like, they would like, I don't know, like fall in love for it, and they were just like, nope. And then there was a team of guys, and they went and they cut to the guys, and the guys stole the question, and they're just like, and he's like, don't worry, ladies, I'm sorry, this one's over. The men are gonna get this. Like there's not even gonna be a strike. And sure enough, they were rattling off, I'd lie for it, I'd kill for it, I'd die for it, and he's just laughing. He's like, that's up there. And it's a classic Steve Harvey clip, but it is true. That's the way we operate. We will be patient. We will play the long game. We will do whatever it takes, especially if you're not a Christian. Now, in the Christian perspective, there's a different moral worldview, and some other religions also have different moral worldviews. But ultimately, at the nature of man, yeah, we will do whatever it takes, and we will wait years to get what we want. And like you said, it's not out and out devious. Because sometimes you are saying genuine nice things, but the motive behind the heart is, maybe I can get closer to her. Maybe one day she'll give me a chance. Yep. And so, ladies, if you're not aware of this, this is what men are thinking. Oh, no, he's just a friend. Yeah, he's thinking it too. Trust me. So because that's how men are.
Actually, I got a challenge. If you, what you just said, if you're saying he's just a friend, what I would like you to do is wait until 12 at night or something like that. Text him and just say, hey, I'm feeling a little frisky. You want to come over? You will find out if he's your friend or not then and there.
Yep. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that advice.
I don't.
But
I'm just saying, if you really wanted to test it,
right,
you could test it.
Right.
But so, like I said, I agree with you.
Yeah.
There is no man that is ever really going to be okay with this.
Yeah.
I think there's levels, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. A secure man will actually upfront say that they're not okay with this. And I also think a secure man will then say, ultimately, it's your decision. If you respect me enough, you will either A, stop, or B, limit the contacts, or something like that.
Understand this,
or just simply understand, like, hey, I know you're not okay with it, and it's going to be at the forefront of my mind to make sure that I'm looking for those signs, so that way I'm respecting you as well.
Yeah. And again, it goes back to men. If you're not careful to guard yourself, you could end up, falling for, a friend's wife, or, because of these dynamics. And that's where the conversation last week, guard your heart. Make sure that there are no-go zones for you. Hey, I will not allow myself to even be physically attracted to my friend's wife. Because if you don't, your nature will take over. Your male nature will take over unless you decide, hey, no, I've set a boundary here. This is a line I will not cross.
Yep.
And hey, even people who have set boundaries sometimes fail, but you're less likely to fail when you have a boundary, because men, we are logical creatures. Okay, I've set in my mind and my heart, that's somebody I will never pursue. And if you don't do that, your man nature will take over, and you will end up, oh, well, they're just a friend. Yeah. Like you said, we'll find out. Yeah. Sorry.
You could.
Yeah.
So I think the last thing I'd say on this is, again, if you're a man listening to this and you're trying to control what your girlfriend / wife / significant other is doing, you're showing signs of insecurity. You're much better off being upfront with her, telling her like, hey, I'm not okay with this, and letting her make the decisions and not trying to control her life, right? Because ultimately, you can't control another person's heart. You can only control yours. You need to be truthful in how you feel, because all men are going to feel this, and trying to internalize it and pretend you're okay is not going to be okay. You can tell her that you're not okay with it, and then deal with the anxiety.
Right.
And then you can speak to someone if you need to, and calm the nerves, and or whatever you have to do. But yeah, don't try controlling it, and don't try pretending it isn't there, because all you're going to do is create a rift inside the relationship.
Well, and also don't be afraid for this. If this is a boundary for you, don't be afraid to go, you know what? If you can't respect this boundary, then I'm sorry, this relationship is over. Because if it, and I think often we're afraid to draw true boundary lines. It's like, look, this is something I'm not okay with, and I will never be okay with, because I wouldn't pursue that. I would not hang out with a girl that I knew liked me. I wouldn't, because I don't trust me. It's not that I don't trust her. I don't trust me. And I'm a Christian, and I still am like, no. If I'm in a relationship, I refuse to have friendships with women who are interested in me. Yep. And well, for me, it's a mutual understanding, and if that's a boundary line I have, it's for me to respect you. It's probably going to be something I want you to have as well. And if you don't, that's fine. But for me, you know what? That's a deal breaker. That's this might be the end of the relationship. And for you, that might not be the case. Yep. But if it is, don't be afraid to express that and go, hey, this is something I'm not comfortable with in the least. And even if I tell you that I'm okay with it, you're going to go and hang out with him, and the whole night I'm going to be questioning and wondering, and that's just not fair to me to put me through that emotional distress. And that's fine.
So, you are right. If set the boundaries and respect yourself enough.
Yeah.
Like if you can be secure enough to let her know, like, hey, I'm not okay with this, but you're okay enough with dealing with the anxiety, do it.
Sure. If
you can't deal with it and you don't want to deal with it, you think it's just completely disrespectful, draw the boundary and be willing to let that relationship end. But when you were talking, you actually made me think of something completely different.
Yeah.
It's also the perception. Right.
So
if you have a male friend, and that male friend is constantly coming over to the house to do whatever, to watch a movie, to play a video game, to drink, whatever, it's creating that perception that you could possibly be interested in them, and you're actually damaging the relationship as well.
Right.
So it's not only the level of okay whether or not there is something going on, it's also that perception that you're putting out there to your partner.
Right. So, well, you're putting it out there to your partner, but you're also putting it out there to the person who likes you.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Or even if they don't like you.
Right.
Like, which is probably not true, because most men only hang out with women that they're interested in.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, this is specifically about guys that like them. It's like, if you're constantly having them around.
Well, I don't think it says that. It just says male friends.
But that's what I'm saying. If you're constantly, the scenario you painted, if you're constantly having them around,
you're giving the perception.
Then you're giving them the perception that you like them back. Even if you don't, even if you legitimately are like, nah, I don't like them, you're giving them hope. You're giving them the perception that you do.
Interesting. I like that. Okay, let's go ahead and end it there. Drop comments. Let us know what you guys think on these three. Those are just our thoughts, and I think we did an excellent job showcasing how you can perceive context and see it in a different light, because we both agreed with each other, but we had way different takes on it. But by changing how we viewed it, made us agree. Like, it's so weird how that sometimes happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Weird. Thank you guys for tuning in. Till next time.